Okay, good morning, good afternoon. I hope you are well. I hope you enjoyed the yen shooting to the upside last night. The Discord channel was buzzing with activities, everyone taking profit on the yen. We had the pound as well from yesterday. Hope you all have been trading well. Hey Jumarinas, how are you doing? Hey Angel Case, hey Nav, hey Christina. Thanks for that, Naren. It wasn't actually, Naren said, the US, even the risky US yen, it wasn't actually very risky, I thought. We've been waiting for that setup, I think, over the last couple of days, and it finally played out. So I was quite happy with how that went. Buying it up, right? Hey Lindy, how you doing? All right, if you are new to the session, welcome to the session. Do remember to drop a message and say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. And for all the regulars, a big welcome back. Thank you again for joining me. If you can help me out massively, do remember to click that like and subscribe button. And also, you can put into the chat any questions that you have. And for today as well, if you had any trades, if you got into any trades from yesterday, share it how, whether you got onto the US yen, whether you got onto the pound. Good morning, Diana. I know Diana got onto the Swiss franc. Any trades that you got into from last night, we saw good moves, do put it into the chat and share, just to share it with everyone. Okay, Jumarinas missed the yen but got 40 pips on the pound. That's super. Okay, so while you're doing that, quick disclaimer: any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product. So please remember that your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. All right, take that away. Now, what has happened since the last time we spoke, right? What has happened since the last time we spoke? A whole bunch, not so much in terms of news, but in terms of just price movements. So I'll go through that and talk about some of the trades that we got into, and then we'll look into what could happen moving forward. Okay, so in terms of news, like I was saying, not that much happened. Today we did have some news, but not big price movers. Market have pretty much been sitting in a little bit of a, I don't want to say shock, but a bit of a consolidation, right? Big move from yesterday. Now it's sitting in a bit of a consolidation. Haven't entered any trades. I am planning some setups. I'll share that with you shortly. What happened from last night? We did see the dollar. So we were, where are we? We were right there from yesterday. We said that it was going to come up to that 105.90 level. If it breaks past that point, it could go up to test 106.15. It actually did that. It went, spiked up to 106.13, right, along that dotted line that we have relevant from, where was it? Relevant from back in April 26th and the 2nd of May. Right, so it hit that point and then came right back down, and it's sitting along this resistance now turned support level, right? Resistance now turned support level on the dollar index. So we take that away and that away. Okay, so it pushed up to our 106.15 area, retraced back down, and it's sitting along 105.90 right now. What we had, big moves we had from yesterday, especially on the US yen. I got into, so I can't move this, unfortunately I can't move this now, but this was a trade I got into. I got in a little bit earlier, right, as it pushed up. As it came up to this point, and you all know I've been waiting for it. So as it pushed up and it broke above, I just jumped into it, got into that trade. I'll zoom in a bit. Okay, I got into that trade. I had a 30 pip stop. and then I went all the way up to the resistance was about 100 take profit. Then then after that, okay, then it started pushing up, right? As it was pushing up, I think by the time it got to that point, about that point here, between these 2 hours, I moved my stop loss to break even. Almost got stopped out because at 9 it shot up, and then as it broke that 106.50 level, it came right back down. You can see that tail almost stopped me out at break even, which would have been horrible because it continued pushing up all the way, and then at 11 o'clock I closed out on my trade. I had my take profit up there at 100. Didn't see it. Well, I thought it could still hit, but then I was just thinking that even if it does hit, it might take a little bit longer. Wanted to go to sleep, so I closed out of my trade at just under 80 pips on the US yen. Right, so that was my 80 pips on the yen to the upside. Quite happy that I closed out of it because it did push up. Although it did push up from 106.75 to 106.87, it just came up, and this was like 3-4 a.m. in the morning for me. Wasn't up to watch that. If I looked at it now in the morning, it would have come back down. I would have closed out just slightly below where I actually did close out, right? So good to close out there, even if I did give away a few pips, preventing that drop, well, avoiding that retracement back down. Okay, so that was my trade and my setup and my trade on the US yen. Take that away. Right now, what I have on, okay, I won't talk about right now. I'll come to that shortly. Then onto the pound dollar. This was a setup that we had. Again, same thing. As it pushed down, I got in at the close. So together with the yen, I had the yen to the upside, I had the pound to the downside. Got into that, took the whole 40 pips. I think not even 41, yeah, 40 pips to the downside. Closed out, and then it bounced back up slightly, and then now back up again. All right, so that was my two trades, just under 80 pips on the yen and 40 pips on the pound from yesterday. I know that we did see a couple of other moves on the Swiss, right? We're talking about this on the Swiss franc to the upside. We also saw the Aussie dollar moving down. Was a bit unfortunate on the Aussie. I was thinking that it could push up before turning back down, but it sat there and then it pushed down right after our session. Similar to the pound dollar moving, it came right down towards that support area and it's bounced back up now. Right, so those were my setups that I was looking at. I didn't get into the CAD. I didn't want to get into too many trades, so I didn't get into the CAD. I was only on the US yen and the pound dollar. Linley got 40 on the pound. Yes, I saw your update on the Discord channel of that as well. Jimmy, yes, I can look at Aussie yen and Georgia versus Portugal. I didn't even watch that. I'm not big into the Euro, so I didn't watch that. But there was a bit of an upset, wasn't it? It was, I think I saw the scoreline was 2-0 if I'm not wrong. Could be entirely wrong, but I thought I saw 2-0. A bit surprising. Not a bit, very surprising. Hey Kunal, how are you doing? Okay, so now with all that said, I lost track of what I was going to say. Oh, one more thing was on gold, right? Gold did break our 2307 level to push down, but it came down slightly and it's still sitting in that consolidation. So that's what has happened since the last time we spoke. For today, we do have at 5:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, the BOE Governor Bailey speaking. Again, this is at the Financial Stability Report press conference. I was anticipating a little bit of activity on this, but I think now a bit less so. This used to be financial stability report and the press conference where Mark Carney was the governor at the BOE. I used to focus a lot on this. We did see good price movements when Mark Carney was speaking about it, a bit less so now. So I don't pay so much attention to the FS or financial stability report, right? Moving on from that, we do have the US GDP to be released quarter on quarter. US GDP, final GDP to be released at 8:30 p.m. tonight. It was 1.3%, or it's currently 1.3%. It's expected to be 1.4. I'm not expecting a no, Naren. I loved Carney. Carney was one of the best ones for me. I love the way he would speak. Sorry, I'm just digressing, but I would love the way Carney would speak and prices would move just because of what he said. I loved it. I loved the way Carney kept jawboning the pound in whichever direction he wanted. So I thought he was the best. Well, maybe that's why, right? He's such a terrible communicator, or such a vague communicator, that he brought a lot of volatility onto the pound dollar. And also, to be fair to him, it was a very difficult time with all the referendums happening, and I think Brexit as well at that time. So it wasn't the easiest time to be clear and concise, but I rank him. I like Ben Bernanke as the FOMC chair. I wasn't trading when Alan Greenspan was chair, but I read a lot about Alan Greenspan. I liked it when Ben Bernanke was chair. I like it when Mark Carney was chair, and then also, for right now, I just can't remember the ECB guy. Anyone remembers what's the Italian guy's name? ECB? Just slipped off the top of my head right now. Yeah, but those three guys, Ben Bernanke, Mark Carney, and the ECB guy, man, I can't remember. Yeah, I like those guys. Hang on, let me see. Now that I've got it, hang on, I just have to find out. I completely forgot. Who was it? Man, I can't remember right now. Anyone remembers? ECB guy. Yeah, what's his name? He's a Italian guy. Mario Draghi. He was the best. He was so good. Right, those three guys were the times where I was paying attention to every press conference. Well, a bit less so now. I was paying attention to every press conference. I was staying up. I was listening to every word, everything they did, and the markets reacted perfectly to what they said and what they did or didn't do. Right, Mario Draghi would turn up to press conferences a couple of minutes late, and it would just drive the euro crazy. Ah, man, those were good times. I know it sounds a bit weird to say things like that, but those were very good times. Mario Draghi did rescue the euro. All right, so now with my nerd minute gone, what are we talking about? Hey, Stefan, how are you doing? Okay. GDP on the US, final GDP on the US, 1.3 to 1.4. I don't expect a big upset or surprise there. So anticipating if it does come around, we should see some strength or continuation of strength on the dollar to the upside. Following on from that, we have core durable goods and durable goods for the US. Again, not big, but not expecting an upset. Pending home sales used to pay a lot of attention to it, not so much now, minus 7.7 to 0.6. A swing from negative to a positive territory would be a good data release. Through that, tomorrow we have the Kiwi on a bank holiday. Why are they on a bank holiday? For some reason, it's not loading. Observance of, okay, no idea what that is. And then tomorrow we have the core PCE price index for the US, which I'll tell you more about during tomorrow's session. Okay, now with all that said, now the dollar is sitting just along this support level, attempting to break that support and spoil the party a little bit. We don't need that for now. And we'll keep the rest there. Now checking this to the top, it's just broken 23.6. It's got 38.2 right there. Let me see. So it's got this whole support area there. I'm not ruling out that we could see a deeper retrace. Not ruling out the chance that we could see a deeper retrace, but I think that we're likely. The thing is, I don't see a massive spike up either, but that's the more likely scenario. That's the more likely scenario. Okay, so what I'll be looking for is that it definitely needs to stay above that point. Oops, what am I doing? Needs to stay above 105.75. Okay. Now, today being the 27th of June, I would say that the dollar index is testing the support level of 105.90, right? Needs to stay above 105.75. Look for bounce to 106.40. Well, needs to break previous high. There we go. Okay, so what I mean by that is that it's going to sit along this, I think it's going to sit along this area. Right, it's going to sit along this area, looking for it to bounce. Needs to break this point before we could see 106.40. Right, not ruling out, again, why I say I'm not ruling out the possibility that it could reverse from here. That's why we're highlighting this point, is because if I scroll back, you can see that this was on the 26th, it went up, tested this level, and then came right back down again. Okay, so not ruling that out, but I like to follow the trend. So I will be looking for a continuation to the upside. If we token that and that, that's still holding, and that's why that's quite a crucial point, because that's the 50 and the bullish trend line to the upside. Okay, there we have it for the dollar index. Still looking for continuation to the upside. Then, with that said, Kiwi came very close to trigger. Well, came very close to trigger, didn't close below, so we take that away. Right, and you see that it came down, tested that support, bounced back up, now that it's holding at this point, again, I would actually go for the same view, right? I don't want to be trading, I wouldn't want to be trading in this area here. It's too small. It's too small an area to be trading within that area. So on dollar recovery, we're looking at it, test and reject. And if you look at this, I don't really like this level, but that's a 38.2 there. So we're looking for this to test and reject back down, right? If that does happen, I would still be looking to sell down from this support. All right, I'll still be looking to sell down from this support. I'll still be looking at 6065, a bit lower this time round. 6065, stop loss no more than 30. 30 is generous. I would say even 25 would be better. 20 could also be done. And then we will take profit of 80 to the downside. I would say 20 even. No, 25. Okay. There we go. 6065, 25 to 80 to the downside for the euro, for the Kiwi dollar. 0.6065. Stop loss 25, take profit 80 to the downside towards that support area. Yes. Okay, good. Test and reject. Yes, I'm happy with that. Then onto the Aussie. That didn't trigger. Take that away. Those are done. Now looking at this, I'm going to consider the off chance, not really off chance, but the chance that, you know, we saw it from yesterday already, CPI data for the Aussies at 4%. That's why we saw that spike to the upside. The dollar strength did push it down, but we have this bullish, slightly bullish trend line to the upside. So again, I would actually still be looking. I know I deleted it, but I would actually still be looking for a test and reject back down, right? For it to sit there. Maybe not so much. Maybe not so much. Because yesterday we were saying that it could test up and push back down. I think if the dollar does find that support and push up, no, I would still be waiting for that, because we have again the Kiwi. I'll still be looking for that. So I'll be looking at this 6695. Stop loss 20, take profit right back down to 60 to the downside. Right? Yes, it could just sit here and reverse, but if within that small range, I would be quite happy to miss that move. I would rather be looking for a better setup that way, or waiting for a better setup that way. Okay, so 6695, 20 to 60 to the downside. 6695, 20 to 60. Okay, we can take that away. No, we'll keep that. 6695, 20 to 60 to the downside. Then onto my new, well, not my new, my re-favorited pair. This is what I have running. This is an order I have running on my platform right now, on my trading platform, trading account right now. I have a sell stop at 159.60. Hang on, let me just check again. Where did I have it? I have it at 159.60. Yes, so just a bit lower than that. 159.60. My stop loss is very tight at 15 pips, and my take profit is way down 190 to the downside, 190 to the downside. So that's what I have as a, what if they intervene, what if they do something about it, or what if the BOJ intervenes. So I'm going to have that, I have this at this position here, just in case we see that kind of that move down, right? So I'm waiting, I have that in place just in case, but I do think that, and if this pushes up, if the dollar yen continues to climb, then I would be quite happy to keep moving this higher, right? But the only time I'll start looking to move this sell order higher is if price breaks above that 161 level, right? Any small moves now, I wouldn't be too keen to move it up. But if it breaks above 161, then I'll move this up possibly to just 160, right? Just for that kind of move. At this point now, I do still think that there is a little bit more upside. We had a lot of, I think Basanta was asking me about, how to plan, or when is the BOJ going to intervene. We don't know. We don't know when, or if or when they will intervene, right? The idea is that for good intervention to work, it needs to be a surprise. So we don't know when, if or when they're going to intervene. The main thing is that now, right, it's still massively to the upside. Okay, it's massively to the upside. So you could still be looking for any upside potential. I'll show you this as well. All right, I'll show you this as well. My fast MACD is showing that maybe we have another push to the upside. It looks like it's trying to cross over back up. I'm not so keen on trading this move at this point. Let me just take that away for now. I'm not so keen on trading this area here. I'll probably be more keen on if it breaks 161. Right, if it breaks 161, then again a tight stop, about 30 pips, and then my take profit will be up to again that 100 or that 90 level, and then I'll look to close out anywhere in between, or if the Bollinger sticks out of the Bollinger, then I'll close out the trade as well. Okay, so it's in this area here where you want to be a bit careful. I would say that if it breaks out, right, you want to look to close quick, right? Either move it to break even quickly or close out the trade quickly, because you just never know what's going to happen in this region. Okay, so US yen, I would be looking at 161.10, stop loss 30, take profit 90 to the upside, but look to close quick, because be careful, it's a possible intervention area. And there we have it, right? Especially if the dollar continues to rise. If the dollar continues to rise, that's going to drive the yen to the upside. So the BOJ does have a massive job on their hands, because it could, even if they intervene, they're fighting against the grain. right? So it's going to take a lot of money for a successful intervention. So we're looking at this to continue pushing up. How far can it go? I'm doing some studies on it. I think that we actually might have quite significant upside more to go. Not saying that it's going to go straight there. It could go up, spike right back down, and then continue pushing up again. Right? So a lot more choppiness to come on the US yen. Yep, okay, and then on to BOJ surprise. Yes, that's the only way it works. BOJ surprise. Hey Basanta. Hey Pips Apprentice, how you doing? Okay, then with that we have the pound dollar. That's done. Take that away. Those are all done. 61, I'll keep that. I don't actually have to keep it, but I'll keep that just to highlight that level. It might actually be good to change or to revise some of these levels soon. Take that away. 50 is broken. And we have 61 right there. All right, from this move up, we have 61 right there. And actually I can put that right there. So it's come down to a bit of that support area. If I looked at this to the upside, we're possibly looking at it at that 50. Oh, that's why I had that line. That was the 50 level there. Okay. So now with that in mind, right, with that in mind, what I'm actually thinking now is we don't need that. We can take that away. Okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay, so now I'm looking at this on dollar strength scenario. Needs to break this area. Needs to break this whole support area to sell before we could look for a good sell down on dollar strength scenario. On dollar strength scenario, we look for it to sell down. That makes sense. Oh, the yen just popped up. The yen just popped up a little bit. Okay, sorry, I know I'm all over the place today. I'm just paying a lot of attention to the yen. Okay, so I wouldn't do anything now in this area because we need to break that previous low, break that support. Then what you'd be looking at would be to sell down 1.257570. Stop loss 25, take profit way down 100. I don't think you get to 100. You'd have a good 60, 50 pips to the downside there. Right in the middle. Right there. I'll be quite happy with that. Actually, I'm not so bothered about this 50. It looks like a weak level. 61 is right there. I like 61 a bit more than that 50. I think he can actually be a little bit more aggressive on this. We can look at 159, 1.2590. What am I talking about? 1.2590, 20 pips to 75 to the downside. I kind of like that more. So pound dollar, we're looking to sell down at 1.2590, stop loss 20, take profit 75 to the downside. I'm just thinking right now whether I need to factor in a chance of dollar weakness. I don't see that yet I see it continuing to trend to the downside, with that pushing lower. Pound dollar might go to fair value. What's FVH? I'm thinking FV is fair value high, fair value something. 1.2680, and from there looking to sell 1.2680. It could be there. Oh, okay, fair value gap. Okay, I know fair value gap. I saw fair value H, and I'm like, wait, I'm missing something. No worries. For this to push up, we might want to see something that he says here. At 5:30 in 2 hours time, we would need Governor Bailey to say something at 5:30 for this to push up. I don't see 1.2680. I think the best I could anticipate would be 1.2658 or 1.2660. You know, it might sit there, or it might, I'm sorry, I'm going to zoom in a bit more. It might sit there, or it might push back up a little bit. And if you look at that, that's going to be about that 50% level. Oh, exactly at the 50% level. So I'm looking at that to push to, if it doesn't turn down from here, maybe push up and then test back down. But that's an early entry. I would say the safer one would be to break the support and sell it down. Okay, but yeah, makes sense. Then onto the euro, again, didn't trigger. I think that I can move this a little bit nearer. I would move this a little bit nearer to look to sell down 1.0665. Close below that point. Stop loss can even be 15. This, right? I think that if it breaks this level, we could see a big push to the downside on the euro dollar. So I'll keep that 1.0665, 15 to 50. 1.0665, 15 to 50 to the downside. Yep, I'm quite happy with that. Looking at this, it has that 38.2 that is testing and looking like it's trying to push back down. Hey Hubert, how are you doing? How often do I come up live? I come up live almost, I say every day, but almost every day unless I'm traveling. 3 p.m. well, this hour live on YouTube and right across several different platforms. So every day you can jump on, right? And if you haven't already, do make sure you scroll right up to the top of the chat. The links for the Discord channel is there. You can join us on Discord as well. Okay, and everyone here, all the regulars here will tell you how fantastic the stream has been. Okay, euro. I'm happy with that. That's pushing up. Okay, that's good. Then US Swiss franc, we're looking for it to push up in that area to push past that resistance and that 61.8. So you see that the 50 held. The 50 held quite well to push it back down. Now it's testing again, right? The dollar strength, resumption of dollar strength should see this getting pushed up. So it's set in that consolidation. Could see it push up. If you wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, let me just see. If you wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, I don't think it's worth it. I think just wait for that 20 something 30 pip move before you would get into the trade. You could get in a little bit earlier. 5 pips is not going to make a big difference. I would maintain this. Stop loss could be a little bit tighter to 20 pips. All right, so we're looking at it to sit in that consolidation, break up, then you'd be looking to buy it up on dollar strength. Continuation, so 9025, 20 to 50 to the upside. 9025, 20 to 50 to the upside. Then onto the USCAD, it went up almost to the take profit, 61.8, held it back, take it away, coming back down. It's odd that we're seeing the dollar push, well, pushing up a little bit, and yet we're seeing the CAD come back down. And we're seeing the CAD come back down. Looking at this, there's no major news on the CAD. Nothing scheduled as well. Whether it's being driven a little bit by the CPI that we saw on Tuesday, it's driving a bit of strength back onto the Canadian dollar, quite a bit similar to what we saw on the Aussie. I don't like it coming back down. Let me see. 23.6, 38.2 is right there. 38 is broken, that one. It's testing here. So what it looks like it could do is that it could come, oops, where am I? It could come down to this area and bounce, right? It could sit there or come down to this area and bounce back up. I would still prefer, I wouldn't enter a trade there, but I would still prefer to buy it up on dollar strength. I would be looking at 1.3725, above that point there. Stop loss about 20 pips. Take profit would be 55 to the upside. I think that's reasonable. Okay, 1.3725. We're looking to buy it up at 1.3725. Stop loss 20, take profit 55. Stop loss 20, take profit 55. Is oil pushing up? Slightly. That's why we see CAD coming back down a little bit. Increased demand, but I feel that the dollar could still be the main driver. Looking at this, we might be topped out at 82. Makes sense that the CAD could be driven up or driven strength. But yeah, I'll still maintain this. I think that even if oil does push up a little bit more, the CAD might gain a bit of strength, but I might find the support along this level, and because that's kind of coinciding with that point as well. And right across, even at that point down there. So it's along this area that it could test and bounce, very similar to what we saw here. Right? Try to push up, test, and then it bounce right back up. So we're looking at it to test and bounce right back up. Aggressive entry could be to get in as it bounces. I would like for it to clear the previous high before I would get in there. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then on to Aussie yen. We did well. Anyone got onto the Aussie yen? We did. I didn't get into this trade, but we read that on Tuesday, looking for it to break, and it did that. Would have gone up 54, 55 pips to the upside. So if you caught that, do let me know. Oh, by the way, Dinah, are you still holding onto the Aussie Kiwi? Let me know. Now looking at this Aussie dollar, retracing slightly now, getting a bit of weakness there, driven by the dollar. Yen pushing up. Okay, cool. Yen push still showing like it's a bit of a push to the upside. So onto the Aussie yen, it is at a round number resistance, right? Again, because if you look at the dollar index, look at the daily time frame, we don't have any major levels to look out for. It's broken all that. So now it's sitting at that point. I would like to say that maybe it could retrace slightly, but I don't think it's going to retrace enough. Right, I don't think it's going to retrace enough. Now, channel wise, that's fine. I'm going to be very cautious in the thought of continuing to buy it up. Right, you can, because we are thinking that the US yen has that upside potential. So yes, I would think that if the US yen does push up, then you would be looking at the yen or the crosses continue to push to the upside, but it's super high right now. I don't see a major retrace would be driven by the Aussie, but I don't see that yet. Needs to test. I want to see it test a bit. So I think that we're going to see it continue pushing up, being dragged up by the US yen. Right, dragged up by the US yen. So if you are in a trade already, then you might want to take profit on it. If you're not in a trade already, then look for it to break that resistance. 107.15, stop loss 30 pips, take profit. Oh, that's far. I wouldn't go, we go for round numbers, but I'm not sure it'll get there that quickly. I think that 107.50 would be a level to consider. So that's 1:1, but you have 108 up there. So I'm just highlighting, because I just don't have any other levels to look at. So I'm just highlighting round number levels and intermediate levels that you could be looking for. But it just does need to break that resistance first. It could very well test, reject, and then bounce. So it could very well do that. Because we've seen that test and bounce, test and bounce. So we could see it test and then bounce again. Okay. Does that align with your view on the Aussie yen? Hey, any profit is good profit, Diana. 90 pips. How much do you end up getting? It's like my US yen from yesterday. I was aiming for 100, got 80, just got under 80. I'm still happy. Super, Jimmy. Thanks for that. Okay, then on to gold. Again, remember that anticipating that dollar strength, I would say gold would be looking for the downward push Yesterday we said below 23.07 to trade down to 22.92. I would still think of that. It actually did come down to 22.92. 22.93 it came down and touched. Right, so it just missed our 22.92 there. Now that it's in this area, I would be careful. I'm always careful. I mean, always be careful, but I would be extra careful. Just because of this whole support area that we see here on gold. So I'm just thinking that it might sit, it's close enough. It's close enough that might sit there. What's gold, what's oil doing? It's still pushing up, that's fine. Could it retrace? Now that we don't need that anymore. Is how much could it retrace by before turning back down? Test and reject. I don't think it's going to retrace that much, but that'd be the most likely scenario. I think that you should stay away from gold at this point for now, because it looks like it could do that and come back down. But in this area here, we've seen it being very choppy, and right across we've seen it being very choppy in this area here. So I don't think it's going to be worth it being a very strong support level. Okay, so I'll watch out for support at 2285. Oh man, no. Okay, so this one I'll watch out for support at 2285. Diana, I have a question. Do you think dollar index will go up considering the news today? Yeah, I do think that oh my God, I do think that, you know, with the GDP we should see it push up, push the dollar index up, or continue to push it up, and that's why I'm anticipating that continuation to the upside. Okay. Yep. So with that said, again, if you haven't already, do make sure you click that like and subscribe button. If you're new to the session, I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. We're live almost every day, and the link for the Discord channel is there. Please have a super day ahead. Trade well, trade safe, and I'll talk to you on Discord. Bye-bye now.